Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today is going to be my June wrap-up, and yes, it's my part 2 June wrap-up. So these are the books that I finished in the second part of June. I did really well as far as like page numbers go, and actually as far as books go. I didn't dislike anything at all. So I can't really go in order of best to worst because I don't really want to. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to grab things as they're there and then I'm going to move forward. This is The Tale of Ava Marie Swanson, and it's by Maura Marsk, and I was sent it by Planta Press. So this is about a child with a terminal illness, and it's just a really good little story about a little girl, and I do like the art, I will admit. I don't think it's like my favorite art style, but I enjoy it. It's a little girl who is coming to terms with her mortality at a very young age, and her family being very concerned about her, and how she still continues to just live her life as she would. Just enjoys things and lives in this very imaginary filled world, and it was really sweet. The goal of this, I thought, was going to be more about talking to your child about what happens when you pass away. And I can see how this would help in certain aspects, but I don't think I would read this to my child if, say, their grandfather passed away. Maybe like if a pet passed away or something to that effect. I don't think this did what I thought it was setting out to do, but it did something different that works as well. It was very sweet, and I definitely think I will hold on to it for future times to read to cousins and such. And then you guys know this one. I have probably hit you guys over the head to death with this one. This is Lenore Zion's Stupid Children, a novel. I will be doing a big full in-depth review. Well, not big full in-depth review, but this will be getting a lot more attention in my cult fiction book video. So that's coming. This, as far as literacy and writing style, was very beautiful. It was simple and childlike, but a very intelligent child who has a very kind of magical way of thinking about the world. It was a really sweet father-daughter story without being only about father-daughter. It was a very strong child, a very strong-willed child, and I really, honestly enjoyed and will reread this several times over. Just weirdly dark, funny book. It was about a young child whose mother dies after she's born, so when she's very young, and her father sinks into a severe depression due to the fact that his wife has passed on. And she talks a little bit about, in the first chapters, her memory of her father before she was sent to this foster home, and how he was just a little different than the other parents. And it was just really beautiful how she describes that they just had their own little world together and they relied on each other. And then she ends up in this cult family, and she's so intelligent from what her father taught her and her values and core being that she's not taken into this like world of darkness. If you have any interest in cult fiction, this is a really good one. It's short, it's easy, and extremely, like, you can sink your teeth into it. It's good. Is Outrun by Amy Liptrot. I received this from the British Welcome Book Prize. They are a medical book prize. They are any genre as long as it has to do with medical science sort of things. This is a mental illness memoir. So this is speaking about Amy, and it's her story reflecting on herself and her happiness and her mirror-like life to her father, who suffered from bipolar and alcoholism. So she goes back to Orkney, which is where she grew up, and it takes a really beautiful, interesting look at natural worlds and nature and what it can do to kind of bring a human back, and what beautiful landscaping can kind of change in a person's mind, and going back to your roots, what that can do for you. It was just breathtaking and soft, and it was really easy to follow and read. And it didn't break my heart. It just stopped my heart, and it made me kind of think. If you're looking for a good memoir that's not going to depress you about mental illness, The Outrun is beautiful. Okay. Waldorf Publishing, oh my God. Okay. Eileen B. Benatar, what did you do to me? Oh my God. This is the first time that I've actually felt like the book Shutter Island has been rivaled for me. I went into this with only the knowledge of it being a story about a schizophrenic patient who is seeing things, and a doctor begins to believe her when they start to see the same things. And that's all I went in knowing. And I think that's all you should go in knowing as well. I am floored. Joss from Scribbles Reads needs this in her life. It's phenomenal. I couldn't believe the way it ended. I am so excited for the sequel. This series, anything you come out with, I'm with you. All the way. Done. Just, oh. Thriller. Finally found a good thriller to sink my fangs into. Ugh. Okay. This was my favorite read of the month. And this is Dorothy Allison, Bastard Out of Carolina. This is the modern classic version, and this is now on my top 5 books of all time at this point. The connection I felt with Bone was drastic. The fear I felt for her was palpable. The dread, the just intolerable knowledge of pain, this was insatiable. This was a masterpiece. This was literary brilliance and art at its best. I love it. I recommend it to anybody who has a strong stomach and an interest in a good modern classic. Please pick this up. Southern, beautiful, heavy darkness, and it felt really good to read it in the heat outside, I will admit. In a hot day, 90-degree weather, just read it cover to cover if you can. Do it all day. It was only 300 pages. Super easy read, except exhausting. I would suggest you bring some tissues, a blanket, and some sort of beverage, and just sit and immerse yourself in this world, because you are going to be worried about this child if you walk away from the book. I physically felt frightened every time I walked away from the book that she was going to get hurt while I wasn't there. And I can't, if I haven't convinced you, I will link down below Mercedes' recommendation video of this, because she said it all, and if I can't convince you and she can't convince you, there is no hope, and I will have to find a Jedi to convince you, because this is the book you're looking for. Alright, this baby. Alright. Whew! So, this, oh my God, this was a chunker. I think this is the easiest piece of nonfiction I've ever read in my life. This is Louisa, The Extraordinary Life of Mrs. Adams by Louisa Thomas. This is from Penguin Press. I was super happy I'm super happy I own this. She married John Adams' son, and she was this strong, independent, wonderfully vibrant. This is a love letter to Louisa. It's gorgeous, and it's wonderful, and it's it's abundantly clear. If you like history, this is good. This is good nonfiction. This is good nonfiction. This is awesome. This is killer. I am totally in love with it. I really did not know that she was such a strong, independent woman. This couple lived all over the world. She had an amazing life. And if you're at all interested, pick this up. If you don't know much about her, I'm sure you can find something, but And then I read a short story collection while I was meandering through my other books. This is Double Dutch, and I requested this from House of Anansi, and they were kind enough to send it to me, and it's beautiful, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed the story told by tipsy talking about Thomas Edison. I did. Mercedes did not. I did, but I had gone into it with that story being the one I was the most excited about. That kind of helped me a lot, I think, as well as I have a really bad weakness for Bob's Burgers, and they did an episode where Louise does a science project on Thomas Edison, and they sing a song called Electric Love, and it's really stupid, you guys, but it made me very happy to read that one story, just clearly from a Bob's Burgers problem perspective. Like, I'm pretty bad, you guys. I really loved it. I think it was a really great short story collection. I will keep it on my shelf. I plan to do a full in-depth review of this, as well as their other book, The Butcher's Hook. The Butcher's Hook. I was not going to do a full in-depth review of it in general, but I spoke to them and I had requested the book from them and they were unable to send it to me because it's not publishable in the US yet. So I ended up receiving a copy from Miss Amanda Center, and I'll link her channel down below, but she sent it to me as a gift, and it was stunning and wonderful, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I think I've seen it. It made its rounds briefly, and it still kind of is, but I haven't seen anyone discuss yet the awkward side of a potential marriage to your sexual deviant assault-ish person. Like, I haven't seen that touched on yet. So that's what I plan to probably touch on. I'm not really sure yet, but I'm getting my thoughts together before I dive into that little review for each of those. But they're coming. That's the story there. So you guys, this has been my June part 2. We are now into July. I don't know how that happened, when that happened, why that happened, like, oy vey. Yes, I will see you on the next video.